All right. I think.
All right. So welcome everyone. So we got a pretty interesting run coming up next. We got MadMegaX381. It's going to be playing The Lucky Dime Caper, starring Donald Duck on SMS. So pretty excited about that. Before we get started, though, I just want to say, we've had a crazy donation stretch, and just want to thank everybody for coming out, all the runners, all the viewers. You guys are awesome, just crushing it, and much love and appreciation. So once again, all the money's going to the Save the Children Foundation, and that's just amazing. And 90% of the dollars just goes right to their mission statement. So you guys are just crushing it, and I think we're really making a difference. So helping children grow up healthy, learning, and safe. I can't do much better than that. So super excited to be a part of this, and we're going to be changing the guard after this run, where the Cove's going to take over as your host. But just signing off as a hard selection. So it's been fun, guys, and keep in touch. And best of luck to MadMegaX381. Looking forward to your run, man.
All right, thank you. Let's get started. So let me. I'll let you know when to start the timer. It's on stage select. So I can talk kind of about the story while we go. So let's skip some of these cutscenes. And so this is our little stage select screen. And in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the idea behind this is that Uncle Scrooge, in his infinite generosity, decided to give each of his 3 nephews a lucky dime. And Magica Dispel saw all of this. She was like snooping by the window. I don't know if you caught the little video earlier on in the while we were getting set up here. And she stole the boys' lucky dimes, Scrooge's lucky dime, and the nephews themselves. So because I'm Donald Duck and I'm awesome, I'm going to go save my nephews, and then I'm going to go save the dimes. It is in no way because Scrooge promised me a huge reward if I do all of this difficult work for him. So the basic idea of this game is that as Donald Duck, I run around with this mallet and I hit other woodland creatures because they've, as I said, kidnapped my nephews. So first we save Louie, and that's the whole first stage. Nice and easy, pretty simple. And now we'll have this little cutscene here where we ask if Louie's all right. He says, "Yeah, Uncle Donald, I'm okay." And we still have 2 more crying nephews to find, so we're going to go do that. No. All right. Fell in the water there. That happens. Some of the jumps are a little tight here. It's no big deal. That's all right. One of the things that I'll be doing here is I'll actually be grabbing some 1-ups as we go along, just because you really need the hammer to beat this game with any kind of speed. And if you don't have the hammer, a lot of the boss fights go from being relatively trivial to very difficult / very, very, very slow. There's another weapon in this game actually beyond the hammer. It's the Frisbee, but you don't ever want to use the Frisbee. The Frisbee's terrible. Nobody wants the Frisbee. We're going to take this a little safe here because I screwed up the jump there. That's okay. So now we have to fight this lion here. This is one of the few places where there's a way to save time on the stage select screen here. You'll notice that I was like wobbling. There was like that animation there, and now the screen isn't centered. What that did was, normally Donald walks to the center of the screen and then he walks to go get his nephew. But because you can lean on that, and as Donald Duck does his like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna fall off this ledge animation, it messes with the game, and then he'll just walk over. So it kind of desyncs the center of the screen. So now we have this stage. This is a neat little stage. One of the cool things about this game in general is this is an SMS game released on the Sega Master System. And I really think that the sprite work is super cool. Donald Duck is a really well detailed character in this. He looks really good. He's got this cocky little strut that he's got going on. You know, he's a confident duck. And then this sequence here, which was probably pretty crazy on the Sega Master System, where you have these rolling down the hill, these blocks looking pretty crazy. So now we have, let's see, we have to fight these guys. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Sometimes you can get a little trolled there, even if you hit the enemies there, you can still take damage, which does happen from time to time and is very frustrating. So we don't like it to happen if we can help it. All right, and we are making good time here. Ooh, whew! Almost got hit by some plungers. This isn't the plunger game. We don't want to get hit by plungers. That's the next Donald Duck game that we have to deal with here. All right. So these guys throw down just watermelons, looks like. And now we have another sequence where we run down a hill. Nothing too crazy. And now we'll get to the third boss after this. And the third boss, we have to fight to save our last nephew, which I believe is Huey. We've saved Louie and Dewey. But it's some sort of like monster that can take control of rock things. Here, I don't really know what he is, but he splits into two, and then he becomes both of these rocks, and we have to beat these rocks with a hammer. So let's.
Hey Matt, can you hear the game audio for yourself?
Yes, I do have game audio.
All right, cool.
And it looks like it's
get to the bottom of this.
Outputting it on my side as well, for what that's worth.
Cool, thanks, man.
No problem. So saved our nephews, so that's good. Now we have a longer cutscene. This is the one where now that you've saved all of your nephews, now your job is you have to go save the dimes, because they're lucky dimes. They're super lucky. They're super great. We got to go find them. And the boys don't know where Scrooge's dime is, but they know where the crows ran off to with their dimes. So that's where we're going. We're going to get their dimes. And we're not doing this for a reward. Oh, wait. We are doing it for a reward because we're Donald. We always do. We don't do anything for free. We got to do something for a reward here. Donald knows. So first stop is Antarctica, and the reason we generally go to Antarctica first is that we have this wind mechanic, and that can wreak havoc with your run. If you get bad wind, which is what I'm getting right here, that can slow you down a bit, and we don't want that. So what we hope to get is this, and we're gonna take this little safe here because I don't want to fall into the pits here. So this can happen. This is one of the RNG things in the game where you just kind of stand here. Donald shivers. He gets cold. And no, yeah, that's how that's going right there. So let's try again here. All right, there we go. Now we've got our. Now we're through. We don't have to worry about the wind anymore. Wind is over. Now we just have to get through this section in here. So now we're in this little ice palace here. It's a bit of a maze. So what we can do is we can utilize the fact that the screen doesn't like scroll. Ooh, one up. Like I said, we're going to be grabbing those because that makes the game a little easier here. We're actually going to take that a little safe too because we have one hit. And what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to get through this section. We're not going to worry about it if we don't make it, because we kind of need to die on this next screen anyways. So, what? Oh, that's all right. I was trying to see if we could pick up the hammer. So when you get hit, you lose your hammer, and if you lose your hammer, that is a huge time loss. That is definitely not good. So one of the ways that you can kind of make sure that you're always good there is if you make sure to just have enough extra lives in reserve so that if push comes to shove, you can take an intentional death and get your hammer back. And that's really not the worst way to go. So, looks like that now we are out of Antarctica, which is one of the tougher stages in the game for sure. Now we're moving on to Hawaii, and now we get to deal with Hot Donald. He'll get a little sweaty here in a second. His idle animations, I think, are absolutely great. Between the leaning on the edge thing, which I think is super cool, to him getting angry that you're standing in place, all of his idle animations are really good. So, okay, we were able to get through there. That was a little sloppy, but that's not the end of the world. I'll pause here for a second, just take this a little safer, give us a little more space here so we don't take damage. You can jump over these, but they are very, very tight. And I've only seen the 1-1-up so far, so I'm hesitant to give away a 1-up right now. If I'd need to take a death to get my hammer back. So, because with Donald Duck, it is always hammer time. At least in this game. All right. So moving backwards. Picked up a key so that we can unlock this room. Whew, walked right under that bat. So we'll take our time here, let these guys spit out the hot lava. Oh, almost didn't make it because of the idle animation I was just talking about when he was on the edge there. That was almost really bad. That's okay. So we're going to take this section here. We got to kind of jump around and wait a little bit for these very like ice blocks that reform and form, whatever. This section is literally just waiting for these to melt down like 20 layers. So if there are any incentives or donations or anything like that we want to talk about, this is a great time for that.
Yeah, sure. I could definitely do that. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure to reiterate. So we got a lot of these bid wars going on, right? So when you make a donation, you can contribute to different outcomes. So there's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle block coming up next. And we got a couple of bid wars going on, or polls around which character you can select. So the one for Ninja Turtles 2 is still up for debate. We have a clear tie across all 4 characters right now. So if anyone's got a strong preference about your favorite turtle, now's the time to dive in before that run starts pretty soon. And then Ninja Turtles 4 has been kind of going back and forth. We had Raccoon Dog donate $5 for Wrath, and then Conster pushed it, who's doing the run, pushed it over the limit with $1 because he really wants to play as Wrath. So if anyone wants to skew the tide there, now's your chance to dive in and make that happen.
All right, well, we're just about at the end of this sequence here, and walk through this door. So yeah, that's one segment in the game that for some reason there's just nothing you can do about that. It is it's just slow. There's really nothing you can do about it. You have to wait for those lava drops to fall from the sky and melt all of the ice, and that's just the way it's got to be. So now we get to fight another crow. This one likes to throw bombs at us for some reason. Oh no, I took a damage. That's not ideal. It's alright. Finishing this fight off, the old-fashioned jump on their headway is not that bad, luckily. Sometimes you do get hit like that. Sometimes the hitboxes in this game are a little unforgiving at times, but that's okay. So now that's the second dime we've got. Now we only have to find one more lucky dime, one of the nephew's lucky dimes. And then we can hopefully find Scrooge's lucky dime. All right, so now we're headed to Egypt. This is a pretty neat little stage here. We got these scorpion things happening. Unfortunately, my didn't get to swing my hammer, which would have been nice to hit him, but dropped a gem. So sometimes enemies will drop useful items like the hammer. Not that one though. And that's, there we go. Whoo! So when you don't have the hammer, you're much, there's the frisbee that I mentioned earlier. You don't want the frisbee. Nobody wants the frisbee. Frisbee is no good. We don't want that. And that's what the game is just going to keep trying to give me, I bet. So that's all right. We're going to go into here. For the most part, the rest of this sequence can be... All right, there we go. Got that hammer back. Woo! Okay, now we're back on course. A little bit of wasted time, but we can live with it. So we have these blocks that are now falling from the sky. This is a pretty classic thing that happens. Don't have to worry about it. This is really meant to be a puzzle where you don't know where you're going, so you have to go in the right door and that. But we know what door we're going in, so we don't have to worry about it. Ooh, another one up. Oh, and it fell through the... One of the things about this game that does occur is that one-ups, if they have to fall, they have to land. Actually, any power-up or item has to land before you can use it. Or before you can pick it up. Or it has to fall like X number of pixels at any rate, because there are screens where they just fall forever then. So that was an unfortunate situation because I went back to get a 1-up and I died. So that's not the best, but we'll live with it. Right now we're waiting for this room to fill up. There's two different patterns that we can get. We can get one like this that basically leaves this opening in the center and fills up everything else around it. Or we can get one that basically makes steps from the right going to the left. One's not necessarily better than the other. Aside from the fact that for some reason I can't get out now. There we go. There we are. Not sure why that happened. That's the first time that it's given me so much trouble getting out. These guys come out of their little mummies we have to worry about. Duck mummies. We're going to pick that up. That's a little bit of safety there. Hopefully shouldn't need it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So what we're doing here is we don't know where the... We're just going to take that death now because so we went back to get the 1-up, and we probably shouldn't have. We probably should have just, kept on going because we were in a good place, and I got greedy for safety purposes, and... Oh, no, that's even worse. Okay. So you have to fight the boss after this, and if you don't have the hammer, bad things happen. So we're going to... So hopefully we don't get trolled here anymore, because that's kind of the place that we're at here. Okay, we should be good now. Whew. Getting a little scary, not gonna lie. Okay, boss time. Okay, good. Whew. That's the most dangerous pattern that you can get, because the snake can hit you. And you can get hit by the note that the crow sends your way. So, whew, very dangerous, but made it through. Now I've got all 3 crows. Where's the dime? Tell me where the dime is. Where's Magica? So we ask some hard questions, and the crows they give us the answer we're looking for here. So now we know where Magica's castle is. And that's where we're going. So we, of course, have to deal with cutlery. Super dangerous cutlery. And ghosts. Oh no! It's alright. I was just sloppy. I shouldn't have jumped there, and I picked up that 1-up and Shouldn't have done it, but that's okay. All right, now we just have to get to Magica. So all of this here is just pretty standard platforming. We can just walk right on through, confident duck strut. I'm gonna be a little safe. So I'm pretty sure that and the skip in the area where the cutlery was is those are neither of those are intentional skips, as far as I'm aware. So those both save a good bit of time. All right, so now this is the last room here. Let these fall. And the trick here is, honestly, if you just hold right, you should be good. And time's coming up here when I break Magica's spell ball. And it's broken, and that is time. So 1934 looks like on my timer. Hopefully, I know that there was some audio issue earlier. Hopefully,
yeah, eventually it fixed.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I apologize for that. I hope that wasn't on my side. So, but
it seems like it magically got better. So, unless you were changing stuff mid-run.
No, I was trying to not touch anything.
yeah. So I think you were good. But yeah, GG's, man.
Thank you. That's so that's Lucky Dime Caper. It's a super cool little game. Like I said, I think it looks like the sprite work in it is great. It's game for the Sega Master System. You can play it on a Genesis 1 or 2, so definitely give it a try. It's super neat. If anybody thinks it's thought that this looked pretty interesting, there aren't a ton of runners for it, so but it's a fun little run. So
yeah, it's cool. Thanks for highlighting, man. It was a cool run.
Thanks for having me.
If any of you guys liked what you saw here, definitely give Mad Mega a